In this video, we are going to discuss how can we improve our middle game by looking at three critical diagrams or positions. After watching this video, your knowledge about the middle game is going to increase by 100%. So I don't want to waste any further time. It is the last question, the seventh question, and how can I advance? So let's quickly jump into the video. So we have the first position on the board. We are playing with white pieces. There are going to be positions that you are going to play, and you are going to say that six questions that we have discussed in the past are not meeting the condition. For example, we have this particular position. Let's discuss the question number one, which says what is the weakness in our opponent's position. I don't think that there is any particular weaknesses. Second question, what is the weakness in our position? Again, I don't think any particular weakness in our position. Third, on which side of the board we are stronger? I don't think that we are stronger on any side of the board because it is a completely symmetrical position. So it's same number of pawns on the same number of sides. Coming to the fourth question, which of the pieces can I make happy? I don't think that I can make any particular piece happy because, okay, I can play the move rook to d1, just doubling upon the d5, but what next? The bishop is covering the d7 square, the rook is covering the d8 square. So nothing is happening. Coming to the fifth question, which piece can I trade? So I don't think that I need to trade any of the pieces because if I just trade both of the rooks, it's going to be extremely drawish and there is no way for a breakthrough. Coming to the sixth question, what is the idea of black? So black's idea is to play the move king e7 followed by rook d8 and try to trade off the rooks, and we have a drawish position. Finally, we are going to answer the seventh question, which is how can I advance? This question is going to mostly answer the position when you are having a symmetrical position like this. So it's a balanced position. So the seventh question is how can I advance? So how can I? You usually advance the position by pushing up through the pawns. This is the main idea. Let's check it out. So try to pause this video and try to find out how will you try to continue this position. Okay, so how should we? So the best thing to advance is to push the pawns. That is the best way we can advance. So if you found the move a4, bravo. It is a very interesting move. First of all, you are removing this pawn from the bishop eyes, and second, your idea is to simply play the move a5, a6. As we are having dark square bishop, which is looking at the a7 pawn, we would like to push up the pawn to a5, a6. If black plays the move a6, now we can simply play the move bishop to b6. Now there is no way black can ever put the rook to d8, and now we are already having better. We can play the move like maybe rook c1, c4, rook d3, rook b3, putting pressure on the b7 pawn. There are such ideas, or else a5, rook a4, rook b4, putting more pressure on the pawn on b7. This is the one way. If black plays the move b6, now we can again play the move a5. If pawn takes, we can happily capture the pawn. Black is having two weaknesses and we are already better. Not the best way. If black pushes up the pawn, we would simply like to play the move a6, and now the a7 weakness is permanent. So the rook must stay on a8 in order to prevent the a7 pawn. So this is the best way you must continue whenever you are having symmetrical or drawish position. I'm not saying that it is going to get a win for you, but it is the most practical choice to put the maximum pressure on your opponent and make him crack. So this is how you can push your a pawn, just putting pressure, just trying to create weaknesses. So this was the first diagram of the position. So now let's move on to the second position. So we have the second position on the board. It's white to play, and I want all of you guys to pause the video and try to think how will you try to continue in this position. Okay, so let's try to discuss first from the scratch. What is the weakness in black's position? I don't see any. What is the weakness in our position? Again, I don't see any. On which side of the board we are stronger? As I said, it's a symmetrical position. So there is no particular side that we are stronger on. 3 versus 3, 4 versus 4. Coming to the fourth question, which of the piece can I make happier? The knight is at the optimum square, the bishop is at the optimum square, the rook are at their optimum square. Even the king is at their optimum square. Coming to the fifth question, which of the piece I would like to trade? To be true, I don't want to like to trade any of the piece because my every piece at their optimum square. So I don't really want to trade any of the piece. Coming to the sixth question. What is the idea or plan of my opponent? So what should be the idea or the plan? I think Black would like to play the move Rook E8, followed by another Rook to E8, King F8, and finally playing Knight to D7, trying to trade off maximum pieces. This is the idea of Black. Coming to the seventh question. How can I advance finally? So if you found the move G4, kudos to you. Now what's the idea? After G4, I simply wanna play on the king side because I'm simply going for the king. H6 because now the G5 is extremely strong. If you play the move something like Rook D8, Rook E7, I can simply play the move F4 now. If you take the pawn, I can simply take it. You can't take this because after bishop takes, the bishop protects the knight. So we are simply a piece up. And after F4, if you try to take with the knight, I can simply trade the knight. Your rook is hanging. That is the how. And now after F4, if you try to play the move Rook E8, F5, and you can already sense how we can simply expanding on the king side, and we are already building a maximum pressure. So this is how you can do so. So like after G4, if Black plays the move H6, trying to stop G5, already H4, G5, Rook H2 now. Not trading off the pawns, but playing Rook H2, building the maximum pressure. And now if pawn takes, Rook takes, we have two weaknesses. And if Black plays the move King to G7, trying to play Rook H8, already Rook H1. And now this is the best way you can do to build a maximum pressure on your opponent. After Rook H8, what can you do? If you try to trade off everything, it would be a drawish position. You are having that on the worst case, but now you can play on the second side of them by playing B4, A4, expanding on the queen side. So by doing these such things, it's the best way to put the most pressure on your opponent till the player crack. Definitely, if you place the perfect chess, it would turn out to be a draw. But yeah, this is the psychologically and practically the best way to put the maximum pressure on your opponent, even if it's a drawish game. So this was the second position or the second diagram, that how can you advance. So yeah, so now let's move on to the final position of the day, the third diagram. Okay, so we have the third position on our board. We are playing with the black pieces, and I want all of you guys to pause the video and try to think, how will you try to continue this position if you're playing with the black pieces? Okay, so coming to the first question, what is the weaknesses in our opponent's position? So I don't see any particular weakness, but yeah, definitely I would say b2 pawn is a slight weakness because it can be attacked like queen b5. But if I try to play queen b5, here white can simply play b3 a4, and white is pretty happy. So no such weaknesses. What is the weaknesses in our possession? I don't see any. Coming to the third question, which of the side we are strong? I don't see any particular side we are stronger on. It's 4-3 versus 4-3 the same way. And yeah, coming to the fourth question, which of the pieces do I want to make happier? I don't think I want to make anything particularly happy. But I would say that my knight is more stronger than the bishop because it's a close position. So the knights are always considered better than the bishop. Coming to the fifth question, which of the pieces I would like to trade? I don't want to trade any of the pieces because if I trade so, like the rooks and the queen, it would simply turn out to be a draw. So I don't want to like it. Coming to the sixth position, what is the idea or the plan of my opponent? Yeah, definitely my opponent want to, like, I don't see any particular plan of my opponent, but definitely he would like to trade the rooks and the queens somehow, but I don't see any particular way. So yeah, coming to the final question, the seventh question, how can I advance? So how can I? So as I said on the first question, what is the weakness on my opponent camp? I said the b2 pawn is a bit weak, but I can't really hit it because of the b3 b4 b3 a4. So can I play the move a5, which is a very strong move? My idea is to play the move a4. For example, if h3, I want to play the move a4. And now, for example, after king h1, I would like to play the move queen b5, putting the maximum pressure on the b2 pawn, because now the pawn can't really be pushed because I can simply capture it. And if rook b1, I can simply now put the pawns on the dark square, and now the rook is always going to remain passive. Maybe knight c5 coming in. Like for example, after b6 here, takes, pawn takes, rook b8, rook b6, putting the maximum pressure. This is the best way to put the maximum pressure on my opponent. And after a5, if the opponent plays b3, still a4. If pawn takes, bad pawn structure. And if b4, queen to c6. Now what's the idea? I want to put my queen to c3, putting pressure on the pawn on a3. And now c2 is already a weakness. If you try to play the move c4, simply rook d3, jumping in with the rook. Rook b3, a3 weak. c4 might be weak if the rook move. This is how you can put the maximum pressure. Even knight to d4 is coming up. This is the best way you can advance in any rush position. Just try to push your h pawn, your a pawn. Try to advance your position by pushing up the pawn. This is the best way. Whenever you're having a rush position, you can just notice any game of the grandmaster. If they're having this kind of knowledge, they definitely know how to convert any rush position into a win. And the best example is Magnus Carlsen. So yeah, this is how you can slowly and steadily track your opponent, put the maximum practical pressure on your opponent. Definitely, if you put this position on an engine, he would definitely defend it. But if you're playing against humans, they do have nerves. And if they get nervous, they get pressure on, they're definitely going to crack. So this is the third diagram that can help you to improve your game. So these were the critical 3 diagrams that I hope that have helped you to improve your game. Now finally, you can play the best middle game you have ever played. I think we have already covered the 7 parts. I'm going to make a recap of all the 7 parts, the 7 questions. So yeah, if you learned anything new, make sure to like the video, share this video with everyone, and make sure to subscribe to our channel if you are new to our channel. I'm going to come up with the recap in the next video of all the 7 questions. So till then, stay tuned and keep watching Oneshot Chess.